Hello everyone, my name is Sarah Wyman Grover, and this is SL Wyman's Rocking Writing. If you are new to the channel, welcome. If you're a return person, welcome back. This channel is mostly about writing, although lately I haven't done as many writing videos as what I would like to, but we will get back to that. I've got a lot of things in the works. I'm just not gonna mention too many of them until I'm actually ready to release. That way I'm not making anybody promises that I can't keep. For now, just know that I'm an author working on getting published. I'm done with my first book, The Obsidian Gate. You can look at the rest of my videos to know more about that. Working on my second novel, which I'm excited about. Hopefully we'll have editing done and be looking in the publishing stage for that first book soon. But right now I'm here with another tarot related video, and this is going to be the final video for our first run through of Tried, Spread, Revisited. This was a hashtag that was invented by Richard at Longman Tarot and Gerald at the Hermit Mage. They came up with this hashtag to be able to visit readings that we should really look at, because sometimes you do a reading, you record it, and then you forget about it, and you don't go back to it and look at it and try to see where that reading, the wisdoms from that reading might have actually been applied. So Gerald came up with this wonderful spread, and Richard came up with a group where we could talk about it, and we decided to do like once a week starting on the new moon, revisit it with different decks. So this will be the fourth and final one for our first spread, so this will be kind of a wrap-up video as well as me showing you what that final spread looked like. I did this with the Botanica Tarot by Kevin J. Stanton. I've kind of nicknamed the deck Flora. You'll see why. It's a beautiful deck. I would highly recommend checking it out if you're interested at all in like plants or flowers. It's a beautifully done deck for that kind of aesthetic. But anyway, the spread that Gerald came up with is called Tell Me About. And we're focusing this month, it's called Tell Me About Joy. So you basically separate the deck into three parts, and then you take the first, last, and then one from the middle of each one, and you lay them out into three columns of three. Your first column is about your joy, second one about others' joy, and the third one is about deepening your joy. So without further ado, let's get into what I got for this final reading and then some wrap up, okay? That first card is, how do I experience joy? Tell me about my joy. And for this one, I got the Emperor, which in this deck is represented by John the Conqueror root, which not something I'm very familiar with. Again, I'm trying to learn more about plants. It's one of the reasons I got this deck. As you can see, the artwork is absolutely stunning, and what I got from this card was basically just the results, joy from the positive end results of really hard work. It's that best way I can describe it. It's that moment in the Karate Kid where Daniel-san has won the tournament and you're the best, comes in the background, that kind of thing. That moment of yay, I did it, I got this. And it's basically saying, yeah, you get joy from that. Just be aware that you're not power tripping. Yes, you kind of enjoy the, yeah, I'm number one, I got this. Just make sure it doesn't make you arrogant, because pedestals are really easy to fall off of. So that's kind of what I got from that one was, yeah, enjoy being up on the pedestal, because you've earned it. Just be aware that you can be knocked off it at any time. And the second card was, what is blocking my joy? And that one I got the Lover's card, which in this deck is Peony, which I kind of appreciate that he didn't go for the obvious and go for roses. Let me see if we can get that to focus just a little bit. As you can see, it's really intuitive. It doesn't have any words on it. It's got like little symbols that you have to memorize for each of these. It's really beautiful. And peonies are actually very pretty flowers. But basically what this is saying, what is blocking me, seems to be, are you giving yourself wholly and completely to these, the things that, give you joy. Victory and success don't really mean a whole lot without love and compassion and authenticity. So, are you being your most authentic self? Are you actually making the connections? You need to, because the Lover's card is all about that, that connection, that melding, that, absolutely, meshing with the spirit of whatever it is you're trying to ask about. And this is basically telling me, are you sure you're doing that? Might want to look into that. And then the third card that we look into is, where do these two meet? So this is, how do you balance those two extremes and where do they meet? I got the Four of Cups, which is represented by the pitcher plant, which I had heard of these, but it was kind of neat to learn a little bit more about them. Those are the plants that have liquid inside. They're meant to be kind of enticing because, you cool liquid, bugs and insects get down in there, but it's an acidic mixture that's in there and it dissolves them, actually. So this is basically saying, they meet. Basically, it's telling me in order to get that balance and in order to get these to meet properly, you really need to make sure that you're making careful, well thought out decisions during times when, you're not emotionally all over the place. You need to make sure that you're not coming at this impulsively. You need to make sure you're not, wigged out and stressing, and, you need to make sure you have all the facts. You need to be making more well thought out decisions in order to balance the things that bring you joy and the things that are blocking it. Because if you're being too impulsive, eventually, you know what they say, sin in haste, repent in leisure. I think something like that. It's basically what this is saying. Make sure you've covered all your angles before you do this. The next card is called, it's part of the second column, which is, tell me about others' joy. And the first card is, how do others share their joy with me? And I got the Ten of Pentacles, or Ten of Coins, which is represented by eucalyptus, which wonderful, wonderful relaxation thing. It's always been a little too strong for me, but I know it's got a lot of good properties. Unfortunately, having a cat, I can't really do eucalyptus around here because it's toxic to them. But basically what this card was telling me is that, how do your friends help you? When you're way out in the ether and you're a little too impulsive, they give you that grounded centering, that solid practical advice and that solid practical foundation you need in order to be able to make better decisions and in order to have a more joyful existence. Because sometimes, if you go too much off of impulse and not enough thought, that can be bad. It's nice to have people in your life that can kind of balance you out when you're being a little dewiggy. So that's what they're saying, that this card seems to be telling me that, my friends and family do. That's what that's how they share their joy, is by, giving me a good balanced perspective so that I'm not, too often la la land. The next one is, how do I share my joy with others? And I got the Queen of Wands. I'm gonna butcher the name of this plant. I'm very sorry. It's a shame because it's a pretty picture. The plant is called a hulubu tree. I hope I didn't butcher that. Some of these names I'm going to butcher, and I'm sorry. That one, basically, the Queen of Wands is kind of my card. It's kind of my aspiration card. That's the energy that I want eventually to grow into. And basically this is telling me you got a lot of passion, you have a lot of enthusiasm, you're the consummate cheerleader, you're right there to, push people to be their best, which is a good thing. And then they're there to ground you when you're a little too out in the ether. So it's a nice, balancing coexistence, which the next card, speaking of meeting and balancing, is where the two meet, and this is the Strength card, which is Ironwood. I really like that because basically it's saying, how you balance that and how, those meet the best is when I can tap into my inner resilience, into my inner strength, and into my ability to adapt to ever-changing circumstances and my ability to absorb and adapt to new knowledge, new information. So really not a bad card to get, I think, in that position. I kind of thought that was cool. Then the next and last column is the how do I expand my joy? How do I deepen my joy? And the first card is basically about how do I expand my joy specifically. And I got the moon, which is represented by Queen of the Night Flower. And again, I apologize if this is not focusing very well. Crappy phone camera. Doing the best I can with audio and everything. And the moon's always been, it's one of my 2 birth cards. So the moon and the hermit have always been kind of special. And I love that card. And basically it's saying I deepen my joy with not only my writing, but with my powers of creativity, imagination, my intuition, and by tapping into that kind of esoteric-y, ethereal side of myself, because it does give me a lot of joy, obviously, or I wouldn't be a card slinger. Go figure. And then the next card is, what am I not seeing about joy? And what I got, and this is one of my mother's favorite lands, actually, I got the 6 of Wands, which is represented by the clematis, which is a very pretty plant. Not necessarily one I resonate with, but I do. I like them, I'm familiar with them, and basically it's saying, and what am I not seeing? It's basically telling me, you need to freaking get out more. They've been telling me this whole month. Get out of the darn house. Go see your people. Be with friends. Take a respite. You need a freaking vacation. And not just I'm going to go down the road. No, you need to go away from home for a little while. And actually be out in nature. So, pretty self-explanatory. And then that last card is, where do they meet or how do we balance it? And I got what we refer to in the tarot community as the wish card, which is the 9 of Cups, which in this deck is represented by a tree or a plant called the baobab. Probably butchering that name too. I apologize, it's not a plant I'm familiar with. They look like they have very beautiful flowers, so if this is an accurate depiction of it. And again, this is the wish card. It's basically saying that, in order to balance this, start storing up some energy. Make wish lists. Take the time to make those goal lists. Write them down. Start checking stuff off your to-do list. Start checking things off your bucket list. Make time to do that. And, make time to charge up your energy so you have the energy to do it, because it's going to be crucial for you. So yeah, the one thing I do love about this particular deck is that it can be very deep, but at the same time it can also be just very simplistic, very boom, what you see is what you get. It makes a lot of sense, and I appreciated that this time around because this week was very kind of rushed and crazy. So, which brings me just kind of to my reflections. Going back over the what I got. So for that first card, the Tell Me About My Joy, I got the Hermit, Page of Wands, the Palace of Cups, and the Emperor, which is, I experience my joy through peace, quiet, solitude, retreating within, study, reading, writing, my meditation, yoga, and being alone, almost too much so. Being creative, in that spark of creative passion and seeking and being a student, in emotions, expressing and feeling them fully, in victory and success, in having and feeling power, though obviously this can be just as addictive as solitude, which that can be a bad thing. Also my inner child is not only my source of joy, but also trauma, creativity, and lots of things. It's a very deep well that I need to learn to draw from more often in a positive manner, because my joy is an expression and sharing my joy, and I need to do more of that. And a lot of the blocks that I'm getting, again, for that I got Page of Cups, Page of Swords, Knight of Wands, and the Lovers. The Pages is all about childhood. That's all about my child self. That is all about childhood trauma, repressed emotions, your childish thoughts and impulses, temper, and being just a bit too melodramatic, maybe a little too overly enthusiastic about everything, and being unable to really commit to changes and to commit to, partnerships that's kind of hindering me. And partnerships just meaning, okay, you said you're going to do the thing, so do the thing. I need to be better with that, and also, what's hindering me is also a lot of deep-rooted pain and nostalgia that really kind of stopped me in my tracks, because, you get that sensation where you're kind of longing for the past, oh, that was so awesome, I miss that, and it's like, you're kind of grieving a little bit, in a sense, because that's kind of lost, it's never going to be back again the way it was. This new generation won't experience it the way you did. And, you're sitting there with, looking at things that could have been and should have been appreciated more when they were going on. So that's one of my big blocks, is I get lost in that a lot. And again, not committing wholly to a project or a goal like I should for the long term. Short term, I don't have a problem with that. But I have a tendency to do short-term fixes that don't actually fix the long-term problem. And that's going to be a block to joy, because then you're just going to have to fix things all over again when that does not work. So, there's a lot of things going on, and a lot of, times when I could be a lot more decisive and taking a lot more well thought out long-term action to solve some of these things, and I'm not doing it the way I should. And that's basically what I'm getting from my blocks, is between that and a lot of other little things, I'm not getting where I should with that. And then we get to, how can I balance these things, which I got the Moon, the Hierophant, the Chariot, and the Four Cups. And it's, they meet in dreams and imagination, that moment between twilight and dawn, between being awake and being asleep, between, manic bouts of studying, learning, needing, and wanting to know more. It's all about my zeal for getting things done, though I need to direct that better and keep a firmer hand on the wheel, because that's what the Chariot is saying. It's like, yeah, you got all this boundless energy, but it needs the charioteer to direct it. And maybe I'm not doing as good a job of that as I can. If I could direct all of this energy, all of this emotion into a more, stable, balanced, well thought out decisions made from a place of calm and logic, and, execute these things step by step, I would, in the long run, probably wind up a little bit better off and experience more joy. And probably just overall be a little bit happier and a little less anxious in my mind, which all of that, nail on the head, makes sense, totally calling me out. And then how do others share their joy with me? Well, I got the Magician, the Tower, the Star, and the Ten of Pentacles. So they share their joy by sharing their spark, their creativity, their energies, and by inspiring me to be my best self, by tearing down my walls when I built them, by helping me tear down my own walls of unhealthy thinking, being there to catch me when I fall from the tower, and helping me to rebuild once that tower has been ground to dust, so I have a better foundation, calling me out on my crap, and by being a ray of hope and light when I need it, and, by giving sound practical advice, as well as sharing time, money, and resources where they can. This is how others share their joy with me. And how am I sharing my joy with others? We got 9 of Swords, 10 of Wands, Ace of Wands, and Queen of Wands. What is the one thing I share? My enthusiasm. Passion, enthusiasm, energy. All the way. Gung-ho, ultimate cheerleader. Right there with you. Somebody has a really great plan. I'm like, yes, let's do this. Also, I do tend to be a mama bear and try to shield others from pain, and to try to be their safe space when they're in pain as best I can. But I'm kind of a coward about dealing with my own pain, and about taking risks, and about dealing with my own confrontations. So that is one thing that I need to be better about, because I'm not good at taking risks. And sometimes in relationships, you need to take a risk. You need to be brave enough to do that. And I need to be brave enough to not only give love, but accept it, which I'm terrible at. And that 9 of Swords told me that right off the bat. I'm a prickly bastard. And I'm not always really good at letting people in and just letting people take care of me when I should. I'm prickly, I'm neurotic. And I project my stress a lot when I don't mean to, but it happens. I'm also not as giving as I could be, which that is one thing I'm definitely trying to work on. It's just, you don't necessarily have to give money. You don't have to do anything tangible. Just be there for people. Give of yourself without expecting anything in return. And that's going to be so much better for everybody, And I do tend to bring a lot of passion and inspiration and the kick in the teeth when needed, and I'm a great tough love friend, but basically a lot of these cards have been telling me that I need to exercise a little more tact and gentleness and kindness with other people. I need to be a little more aware of how I'm going about what I'm doing and adjust properly, because sometimes tough love is needed, but there are times when, no, you got to take the more gentle approach, and I am not very good with the kid gloves. I'm learning to be better. I'm learning to be a lot more thoughtful with what comes out of my mouth, than what I've been in the past. I'm trying to be much more better about that because, better listener, because that's always an important component to communications. You have to be willing to listen too. Sometimes you just got to shut up and make space for people. And that is a lesson I'm really trying hard to incorporate. And I'm really trying to embrace that. And there are times that it's more difficult than others, again, because I'm prickly and I'm very no nonsense. A little bit on the Queen of Swords side sometimes. I have a tendency to be very direct and think more in a problem solution way, when there are times when sometimes they don't want you to solve their problem. They just want you to listen to it and be like, yeah, I could see where that would really suck. I'm sorry you're going through that. So I'm trying to be better about tapping into that and being more mindful of that with not only myself but other people. So it's a good thing to be aware of. And then you have the 6th card, which is, how do you balance all of that? How they share love and how you share love, which was King of Swords, 7 of Cups, Hanging Man, and Strength. So these are balanced by careful, rational thought, not being overly critical, not allowing myself to be overwhelmed by too much emotion or too many choices, by looking at all different perspectives, not procrastinating, but still pausing to think things through by tapping into my inner courage, strength, and resilience, and my ability to adapt and be willing to change your approach if you need to. And then, how do I expand my joy? Well, we got the 10 of Cups, 5 of Cups, the Sun, and the Moon. And I deepen it by really honoring my emotions, by appreciating what I have and not grieving over what I don't. Let the past be the past, let go, and embrace both my light and my dark side. My imagination, creativity, and my emotion, and my joy, and passion, and warmth, by accepting all of that. That's really telling that how to expand my joy, sun, and the moon. To me, that's really telling. It's like, you can be happy, sunshine, rainbow, and sparkles, and still the dark, moody goth chick. You can be both. You are both. Accept both. Tap into what you need as the situation presents it and honor both sides of your personality. And, what have I not been seeing about joy? Well, 9 of Wands, 10 of Cups, Justice, and 6 of Wands. Joy's not always easy to find. Sometimes it has to come from within. And it's usually found right where you are and right when you need it the most. If you got to go looking for it, you never lost it to begin with. It's right there. And it's also telling me that I need to be careful about being judgy, and to do things and be with people that refill your cup. Get out more into the world. Sometimes joy has to be made. You have to work at it. Can't be happy or help anyone if you're drained, closed off, or being selfish and not sharing. So it's like, if you pull the walls up too high, how are you supposed to, be able to share with anybody? You gotta be willing to be vulnerable. And it's not easy. And then the last card is, how do you balance all of that? Where does it mean? Well, we had King of Pentacles, 8 of Wands, 3 of Coins, or Pentacles, and 9 of Cups. And these mean are being balanced by leading by creating a healthy, happy, stable hearth and home, safe space for me and my friends and my family, and by putting in the hard work to do that, and to, when I screw up, fix it. Put in that hard work. Take more risks. Go out of my comfort zone. Storing up my energy and doing things away from my cuff so I can store my energy, so I can put my wishes and my goals out into the universe and make them happen. So, yeah, overall, I've really, really enjoyed this spread. And actually, the most best part for me has actually been this part where I'm looking back on it, and looking at all the different cards and pulling it all together really created a really nice big picture. So I'm really interested in seeing where this goes. But yeah, that's, I know it's been kind of a longer video, so yeah, I think I will leave it at that, other than I'm really looking forward to our next spread, and I will continue to video these like I have been. I'll also get some writing content going for you here soon. Try to announce when that comes up, or at least, link it on Facebook once I, actually do release it. Hoping to get more regular on that here, and, obviously this is helping me be better with that because it's once a week, and I'm hoping I can also slip some writing content in there for you at some point. Either way, I really appreciate you guys sticking with me till the end. Any kind of likes, comments, and subscriptions, sharing, any of that, or any comments below really help. I'm trying to be better and learn more about how to create a successful and productive YouTube channel, and I just appreciate everybody being here and commenting and sharing, even if it's just your views. Seeing the number of views, I appreciate that. If you have time, please check, and you're interested in tarot, please check out Gerald at the Hermit Mage and Richard at Longman Tarot. They're both very entertaining. They both have great channels. I'll try to go back and I'll edit in their links to their channels below, and to Facebook group Tried Spread Revisited, so you can kind of see where other people took this if you would like. Beyond that, thank you very much. You guys all have a great day, and be safe out there, alright? Bye-bye.